Hello, my name is Stan Johnson with the Prophecy Club, and I'm going to explain the 5 books that I recommend you get. Probably the biggest question in Christianity today is the rapture. Is it pre-trib? Is it mid-trib, pre-wrath, or is it post-trib? What is the real truth? Well, pretty much no one has actually found the answer to that until this book. Why? Because this book has the secret door. When you understand the secret door, all of a sudden you can put all of the prophecies of the end time into their correct chronological order. See, that's the problem. If we can just get the correct order, then we understand whether it's pre, mid, post, what is the rapture? How does it all work? This book finally explains it. It explains the secret door, the morning star, the wrath of God, eternity entering into time, who are the nations, what is the overcomer. All of those are crucial if you want to understand whether the rapture is pre, mid, post, or whatever. And this book will explain it. Now, 1 for 20, but don't do that. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10. 10 for 30, 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. I was privileged to meet this man. Back in 1987, I invited him into my home, came into my home 2 different times, and I went to his home. Dimitri Duduman is a Romanian pastor, has smuggled Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years. Finally, they arrested him, put him through 5 months of torture, culminating in them putting him on the electric chair twice. As the electricity was going through his body, the whole room lit up with white light. The angel Gabriel showed up in the room. Said, "You're not going to die. You're going to America to give them a warning from God." And he arrived in America in 1984. The angel came to him again. He said, "Get beside me," and took and showed him California, Las Vegas, New York, and Florida. He said, "Do you see what I've shown you? This is Sodom and Gomorrah. In one day, it will burn." He said, "How? America is so powerful." He said, "The fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack and defeat America. In one day and 1 hour, America will burn. Then God will raise up China and Japan and many of the nations. They'll go against the Russians. They'll defeat the Russians. They'll back the Russians to the gates of Paris where they sign a peace treaty. But they make the Russians their leader. Then all the world, with the Russians as the leader, goes down to attack Israel. It's Armageddon. Israel cries for Messiah. Jesus returns on the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. This is the book that explains it. This book explains all of his testimony, dreams, visions, angel visits, all of it. It also has Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruver, Shane Warren, Terry Bennett, Maurice Sklar, Augusto Perez, Doug Messer, Bree Keaton, people that I think are actually hearing from God. All of these are prophecies having to do with the future of America. Extremely important. 1 for 20, but we offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 5. 5 for 35, 10 for 60. The next book is Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. This is the granddaddy. You want to understand Bible prophecy? Here it is. So what happened was, in 2017, just as a project, I decided I was going to memorize the book of Revelation. And what happens, I started getting these revelations. Got 30 revelations, got 2 visions and an audible voice. And he showed me that the word first fruits is actually a secret door, which links the feasts of Leviticus to the prophecies in Revelation. And for the first time, we can understand the correct chronological order of the prophecies in Revelation. As a result, we can put all of this together so the back part of the book has these 2 back flaps. This is the chart that explains how the feasts link to the prophecies of Revelation. This is the chart that explains the seals, the trumpets, and the vials, and how they all play out. You want to understand Bible prophecy? Here's your book. One prophetic word said, "There's a lock I put over a word in the book of Revelation I'm going to open to you. It would turn many books on the end time message into obsolete books." That's this book. 1 for 20, but don't do that. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 5. 5 for 35, 10 for 60 at prophecyclub.com. Next, I'm going to start with 2 questions. What would you do if you had to tell someone the most important thing in the world, but you knew they wouldn't believe you? I'm talking about all people, all nations, all languages. What would you do? Would you tell them? Well, hopefully you'd tell them. But then it brings us to the second question. What is the most important information? All people, nations, languages, every beating heart on the globe. What's the most important information? Well, the most important thing to do is to accept Jesus. But the most important thing not to do is do not take the mark of the beast. Because you take the mark of the beast, you do not get soul death. You're tossed into the lake of fire and brimstone with the beast, the false prophet, and Lucifer, tormented day and night without hope of escape. No exit at all. You see, after everything is done, after Jesus' return, all time is over, all rewards been handed, everything, there's only three groups of people. First group is those people whose name is in the book of life, who live forever. Second, those people whose name is not in the book of life, tossed into the lake of fire, get body and soul death. But the problem is, the third group are those people that take the mark. Look, you take the mark of the beast, you do not get soul death. You're tossed into the lake of fire and burned for all eternity with no hope of escape. You got to understand there's 5 things not to do. 2 involve bending the knee. 3 involve taking a mark. First of all, we do not worship the beast or his image. Absolutely not. The second thing is you do not take the mark or the name of the beast, which we don't know yet, or the number of his name. According to 3 different voices, this is the mark of the beast. You're looking at the mark of the beast. This is what it's going to look like. And it's in the book. Next thing, this is the number of his name. Mark of the beast, number of his name. Both of them in the book explains all of that. So what do you do? Well, it's hard to talk to people about this stuff. This is the book. You give it to them. If they'll read this book, miss the mark, they will never take that mark of the beast. It explains the tribulation, explains prophecy very, very briefly. It's a quick read book. It's designed to give it to someone if they're a blank piece of paper and take them to the point to where they will never take that mark of the beast. 1 for 20, but don't do that. We're offering them in shrink wrap sets of 10. 10 for 30, 20 for 50. That's 1 for 20, don't do that. 10 for 30, 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. The next book is Tribulation, Secrets, and Daniel. Probably Daniel's the most difficult book in the Bible to understand. This book gives the last generation a simple explanation of the parts of Daniel which they're going to need to know as we go into the trouble ahead. It makes Daniel easy to understand. It exposes what the Antichrist looks like, what he sounds like, his appearance, how you can spot him early. Explains all of that. 1 for 20. Don't do that, though. Shrink wrap sets of 10. 10 for 30, 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. Tribulation, Secrets, and Daniel, 10 for 30, 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. In this book, you also have the 2 charts, linking the feasts to the prophecies of Revelation, and the other chart linking the seals, trumpets, and vials all together so you can understand the last days. When you understand the last days, the fear begins to go away. One of each of these available for a gift of $60. But I recommend you don't do that. I recommend you get the better deal. 5 of each of these 5 books, 25 books, for a gift of $100. That's right, 5 of each of these 5 books for a gift of $100. Why? Because you read one of them, you're going to read all of them, you're going to start handing them out to your other friends. Don't do the one for 5 for $60. Instead, do 5 of all 5 for a gift of $100. 5 of each of the 5 books, 25 books, for a gift of $100 at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com.